All right. So again, you received this sheet back because you filled it out earlier this school year in September, or you've just gotten a new one and you filled it out. You are filling in the bubbles green if you think you are this all the time. You are filling them in yellow if you think you're this some of the time, and you're filling them in orange if you don't think you're this way at all. These are 10 learner profile traits. So are you knowledgeable? Are you a communicator? Are you an inquirer? Are you principled, open-minded, caring, reflective, a risk taker, a thinker, or well-balanced? Once you've filled in the colors, then you're focusing on your greens. Do you have 4 greens or more than 4 greens? Then you're choosing the 4 that you want to focus on this worksheet. So it says, look at your learner profile reflection sheet you filled out earlier. Has anything changed, or would you switch it? And what did you fill in green? Choose 4 of the characteristics from those that you filled in green. So I put in open-minded. I put a yellow one, risk taker, caring, and reflective. Okay, and so then I just tried to come up with different visualizations or what those words could look like. You can look up examples online, and once you have come up with 4 words, then you're going to choose one. I'm choosing caring, and then it says down here, choose one of these words with its design. On the back of this paper, trace your phone or iPad to get a scale size correctly and practice the design one more time. So you can practice it once, twice, 3 times, but as you can see, I literally traced my phone. I have my case out now, but I literally traced my phone and I started coming up with a few different designs for the word caring. Okay. Once you have done that, then you have to start problem solving how this is going to work. So with your iPad, are you going to do the back, or are you going to do the front, or are you going to do both? With the front, then you potentially will have to draw directly on here using maybe a Sharpie markers. I do have different metallic markers and different color markers. You could also put tape down and then add marker to it. I have masking tape as well as white duct tape. I can't get this open. There it is. So you could lay the tape down in some sort of design. And then you could add some sort of image on top of that if you want. I have lots of different colors. Okay? Or on the back here, you wouldn't necessarily have to draw directly on here. What you could do is you could add a piece of paper in the back. So you could draw on a piece of paper and then just slit that in there, cut it in there so it fills in there. And then you don't have to worry about retracing or redrawing it. I also have transparencies. So you could draw on the transparency itself. And you could even use the transparency as something to trace. Oops, excuse me. So I'm going to do the word caring, and I really liked this image of the penguins. And so I could trace my penguins on here if I wanted. Now I have a cute little outline of the penguins that I could color in. I also found this bubble that I like of the heart. Can you see it? Okay, so I could work to color that in and add designs around it. I could add tape, whatever you want. And then this piece I would just put into the back of my iPad. Okay. If you have a phone case that you want to do this with, you have to figure out what kind of phone case you have. I have a dark case. And so that in itself is its own kind of problem. I have to problem solve how to do that. If I want to decorate this, I would have to directly draw on it, or we could Mod Podge a piece of something on here. So again, you can draw it out on paper, you could draw it out on a transparency, and in the end, if you don't want to directly draw on your phone, you can just submit a final design on paper or a transparency if it's making you nervous to do a final thing. But again, we have numerous, we have tape, we have Sharpie markers that you can start designing this. It has to, again, have something to do with one of the learner profile traits, though. So if I'm doing caring, maybe I wouldn't necessarily be able to do the penguins now, but maybe I could just have some sort of heart. And again, I can practice that over here on the paper first. I could do people too. So there's numerous ways to go about this. You have to figure out what makes sense for you. And if you actually want to draw directly on your phone, or if you actually want to draw directly onto your iPad. So whatever works for you, there's lots of different options. And this is just an a way to kind of explore and figure out what you want to do. You could draw it out on paper. You could, again, draw it out on a transparency. And then the paper or the transparency could go in directly. The other thing I was forgetting about, what am I going to run into with this design where my penguins are? With our school iPads, we have that barcode, and we have to be able to see that barcode. But since this is a transparent sheet, I should be able to see it. So now that I think about it, it should be okay. But as you can see, I've just got it so it fits in there perfectly. And you can do the same thing with a piece of paper. You can cut out this piece of paper, right, and have the drawing directly on here, and then you'll be able to see the drawing through the case. So, reflecting on the learner profile traits, choosing for, and coming up with some quick draft ideas before finalizing one and coming up with a design on the back. Once you've done these worksheets, they need to be handed into the wire basket, and then you're welcome to be figuring out numerous ways to print out images, to trace, or draw directly on a case, or to be drawing on paper or a piece of transparency. So we're going to continue to work on this today and tomorrow. So enjoy.